The United States faces an escalating crisis of illegal immigration, undermining national sovereignty and security. Millions of individuals enter or remain in the country without legal authorization, exploiting a porous border and lax enforcement system. This article exposes the reality of illegal immigration, detailing the definitions of offenders, the weak penalties they face, the inadequate defenses allowing their entry, the limited role of citizens in combating the problem, and the political manipulations that perpetuate this failure. Presented with unwavering clarity, it reveals a nation struggling to uphold its laws amidst an overwhelming tide of illegal entrants. Defining the offenders. Illegal immigration involves individuals who defy U.S. law by entering or staying without permission. These offenders are known by various terms, each highlighting their violation of national borders. An unauthorized immigrant crosses the border without legal documents or overstays a temporary visa, living in defiance of immigration rules. An undocumented immigrant lacks any valid identification, operating in the shadows of society. The law labels them illegal aliens, a term that underscores their unlawful presence. Deportable aliens face removal for their violations, yet many evade consequences. Non-citizens and irregular migrants similarly flout legal entry requirements, while asylum seekers exploit legal loopholes to gain entry without documentation. Gotaways sneak across borders undetected, and parolees slip through temporary permissions, often never leaving. Worse, some entrants harbor malicious intent, acting as terrorists, threat actors, criminal aliens, or foreign agents, plotting harm against the nation. These terms expose a spectrum of lawbreakers, from economic opportunists to dangerous subversives, all exploiting America's vulnerabilities. Weak penalties for illegal entry. The penalties for illegal entry are woefully insufficient, failing to deter offenders. Entering without a passport, visa, or inspection is a mere misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in prison or a fine as low as $50. Many face no jail time, released to await distant court hearings. Re-entering after deportation, a felony, carries up to 2 years in prison, but enforcement is inconsistent, with repeat offenders often slipping through. Using fake documents, like forged passports or IDs, is a felony with up to 7 years, yet prosecutions are rare due to overwhelmed agencies. Claiming false citizenship or stealing identities also carries felony charges, but these are seldom pursued. Asylum seekers, entering illegally, face the same misdemeanor but are often spared prosecution, released to exploit asylum processes. At ports of entry, those without documents are simply turned away or briefly detained, with airlines footing the bill for their return. Civil penalties, like entry bans, do little to stop determined violators. In 2023, 2.5 million border apprehensions highlighted the scale of this issue, yet most faced minimal consequences, exposing a system too weak to enforce its own laws. Inadequate defenses against illegal entry. America's defenses against illegal immigration are riddled with gaps, allowing millions to breach its borders. The system operates in 3 flawed tiers: international intelligence, border security, and internal enforcement, each undermined by insufficient resources and political interference. International intelligence efforts aim to stop illegal migration before it reaches U.S. soil, but fall short. Agencies collaborate with foreign governments to disrupt smuggling networks, sharing biometric data and imposing sanctions on complicit officials. Operations target cartels and traffickers abroad, yet these efforts barely dent the flow of migrants. With over 10,400 agents stationed globally, the reach is vast but ineffective against the sheer volume of illegal movement. Border security, the frontline defense, is equally compromised. Border Patrol agents, numbering around 19,357, patrol vast stretches of the U.S.-Mexico border, using sensors, drones, and canines to catch intruders. Yet, 2.5 million apprehensions in 2023 and 10.3 million encounters from 2021 to 2024 reveal their inability to stem the tide. Ports of entry, staffed by over 24,000 officers, screen travelers but turn away only 1.6 million inadmissible entrants over 4 years, many released to claim asylum. Checkpoints and surveillance towers fail to catch gotaways, estimated at over 2 million since 2021. Border walls, often halted by political decisions, leave gaps exploited by smugglers. Air and marine patrols offer limited support, unable to cover the expansive frontier. Internal enforcement is the final, crumbling barrier. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detains and deports offenders, achieving 685,000 removals in 2024, but this is a fraction of the unauthorized immigrants estimated in 2023. With 20,000 agents, ICE struggles to prioritize criminals, releasing 3.6 million with court notices since 2021. Investigations into fraud and worksite violations are underfunded, while 3.7 million backlogged immigration court cases delay deportations. State and local police, limited by sanctuary policies in some areas, assist only in 150 jurisdictions, contributing to just 10% of removals. Task forces and biometric screenings are overwhelmed, allowing millions to remain undetected. This broken system fails to protect America's interior from illegal presence. Passports, visas, and entry failures. Legal entry requires a passport, proving identity and citizenship, and a visa, granting permission for specific purposes like tourism or work. Most nationalities need both, except for 42 visa waiver program countries using electronic authorizations. Passports must be valid for 6 months beyond a stay, and visas are issued as stickers, stamps, or digital records. Yet, millions bypass these requirements, crossing without documents or overstaying visas. In 2023, version 2.5 million border encounters involved individuals without passports or visas, while millions of legal entries, before COVID, show the system's vulnerability to abuse. Those denied at ports face no real penalty, merely returned by airlines, exposing a process too weak to deter illegal attempts. Citizens' limited role. American citizens are powerless to directly combat illegal immigration, forced to rely on a faltering government. They have no legal duty to report unauthorized immigrants, but can submit tips to ICE through a toll-free line or online form. Reports require no proof, but specific details like names, addresses, or crimes increase action chances. Citizens cannot investigate, detain, or remove offenders, as these are federal powers. Attempting to detain someone risks charges like assault or false imprisonment, while physical removal constitutes kidnapping, a felony with up to 7 years in prison. In rare cases, citizens can perform a citizen's arrest for witnessed felonies like reentry after deportation, but immediate police handover is required. Reporting to local police in cooperative jurisdictions or other agencies like CBP or the FBI is an option, but citizens remain at the mercy of federal inaction. Known unauthorized immigrants in communities should be reported to ICE. Yet citizens face legal risks if they confront or profile suspects, highlighting their constrained role. Risks of false or assumption-based reporting. Filing false IC reports carries severe consequences, exposing citizens to legal peril. Knowingly providing false information is a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and fines. Malicious reports causing harm, like wrongful detention, invite civil lawsuits for defamation or civil rights violations. Assumption-based reports, such as those based on skin color or language, are legal but risky, often dismissed by ICE as low priority and potentially triggering harassment charges if discriminatory. Good faith tips, even without evidence, face no penalty, as ICE verifies status independently. Citizens can report anonymously to avoid retaliation, but follow-up is limited, with ICE rarely updating reporters due to confidentiality. This system discourages frivolous reports while leaving citizens vulnerable to legal and personal risks if tips are misused. Effective reporting strategies. To report suspected unauthorized immigrants effectively, citizens must provide detailed, anonymous tips to ICE. Specific information, such as names, workplaces, or observed crimes like document fraud, ensures higher investigation priority. Highlighting criminal activity aligns with ICE's focus, as 70% of 2024 arrests targeted convicted or charged offenders. Anonymous submissions via ICE's online form or toll-free line protect against retaliation or lawsuits. Reporting to CBP for border issues, the FBI for crimes, or local police in cooperative states like Texas amplify scrutiny. Citizens must avoid confrontation or publicizing reports to minimize risks of revenge or legal repercussions. By focusing on facts and avoiding bias, reports maximize the chance of deportation while shielding the reporter from consequences. Local police and state constraints. Local police play a minimal role in immigration enforcement, constrained by federal authority. Only 150 jurisdictions participate in federal agreements, allowing them to check status or detain offenders. They can arrest for crimes like smuggling or reentry after deportation, but deportation requires ICE intervention. Sanctuary policies in states like California limit cooperation, while states like Texas expand police powers through laws allowing arrests for suspected illegal entry. Police investigations require probable cause, not mere suspicion of status, and they cannot deport, only transfer to ICE. This patchwork system leaves enforcement inconsistent, undermining efforts to address unauthorized presence. Political manipulation of enforcement. Immigration enforcement swings wildly with each administration, leaving citizens at the mercy of political agendas. From 2017 to 2021, strict policies prosecuted all illegal entries, expanded local cooperation, and built border walls. From 2021 to 2025, enforcement weakened, prioritizing only criminals, releasing 3.6 million with court notices, and halting wall construction. Parole programs allowed over 1.3 million entries, while 3 million were expelled under health policies, many reattempting entry. The 3.7 million court case backlog in 2024 ensures delays, allowing offenders to remain. Citizens face a system dictated by political persuasion, with no consistent application of laws, exposing a government unwilling to fully enforce its borders. The scale of the crisis. The crisis is staggering, with 10 to 20 million, and possibly up to 30 million, unauthorized entrants from 2021 to 2024, over 6 million remaining in the U.S. From 2017 to 2020, over 4 million entered illegally, alongside legal admissions, showing the system's long-standing failure. Gotaways, over 2 million since 2021, evade detection, while 685,000 removals in 2024 barely dent the unauthorized population. This overwhelming influx reveals a nation unable to secure its borders or enforce its laws. Conclusion: illegal immigration represents a profound failure of U.S. policy and enforcement, eroding national security and rule of law. Offenders exploit weak penalties, inadequate defenses, and political vacillation to enter and remain unlawfully. Citizens, powerless to act directly, are relegated to reporting to an overstretched government, risking legal and personal consequences. The system's reliance on inconsistent administration policies leaves America vulnerable, with millions of unauthorized immigrants undermining its sovereignty. This crisis demands urgent, unwavering action to restore control and uphold the nation's laws.